Well, good morning, lovely people. Welcome back to another video. It seems that all my videos at the moment are starting from the van. This morning I'm heading to meet a friend for breakfast. Really looking forward to that. But after that, I will be going out taking some images, making this film, of course. I'm going to a slightly new area today, just to bring the changes a little bit. And I have still got the OM1 Mark II in the bag and the 3 lenses plus the teleconverter, so really looking forward to a nice lightweight bag again today. The weather currently is mixed. We've got some sunshine and cloud, but I think the cloud is going to build later on in the morning, which is good. The other thing that I should mention is we've just had a period of quite strong winds in the UK over the last 10 days. That's settled down now. But what I'm hoping for is that that's brought down quite a lot of material from the trees, particularly leaves. And at this time of year, of course, as soon as they hit the ground, they start to decompose and often take on some autumn colour. So I'm potentially looking forward to some autumn colour this morning. So I'm going to head to the pub, of all places, for breakfast, and I will see you in just a second. So I've just literally come across this tree, and I've been in this woodland so many times but never really noticed it, and it's obviously a character that stands out amongst the others. It's old, it's gnarly, and it's begging for a photograph. Now conventionally I feel that it's a difficult subject because to photograph it as a normal portrait shot, you've got lots of problems with bright highlights. On a day when there's lots of mist, perhaps you will be looking at an entirely different kettle of fish. But I think there's still an opportunity to be had, and having a wide angle lens for once has really opened up that opportunity for me. And I'm thinking that I might try shooting. Now this lens that I've got here, this is an 8 to 25mm lens, which translates to 16 to 50 in full frame terms. But what I'm thinking is flipping the little LCD out, turning it upside down, putting it on 8mm and getting beneath the tree. I'm going to hand hold it and see if I can get anything really dynamic just looking up at the canopy. Now my plan is to let the whole thing deal with itself in terms of exposure. I'm going to put it on aperture priority. Pointing at the sky, of course, will mean that the camera will want to underexpose everything, which I'm fine with. I don't want to go high key particularly. I'm not going to pull it back. I don't want any detail, particularly in the shadows. I just want the strong shapes of the tree surrounded by the canopy of the others. So let's give that a go. So I've set the camera to screen record, to video record basically, and the trouble with that is that there is a bit of a crop effect, and I don't get the full 8mm, 16mm on full frame, but you get the general idea. So all I'm basically doing is turning the lens upside down, the camera upside down, and you can see already those dynamic shapes starting to appear, and all I need to do really is just play around with the composition until I get something pleasing. And you can see how all those blacks have gone beautifully black, and we've just got those lovely leaves at the top just filling in the spaces, creating a very, very interesting effect. And of course you do need a nice tree as your main focal point, otherwise you just get very, very much straight lines all converging to the vertical, or should I say to the vanishing point. But that there is pretty much what I'm going for. So I'll get it off the video recording now, and I'll get a composition in place. If at all possible, I will try and show you through the back of the camera, but as you can see I've got the camera really low to the ground, but I'll try and set it up in such a way that I can show you the screen to at least try and show you the composition that I've arrived at before I put it on screen. Right, so camera is in position down on the ground. Typically when I came to line this up like I'm doing now, I couldn't get the camera back in the original position that I'd initially shot when I came over to do the test shot. But hopefully you can see that that isn't a million miles away from the first shot that I took. But you can see how beautifully shapely the tree is going up into the canopy of the younger trees around it, and we've got that lovely almost claw-shaped trunk and branches coming out from the base, just leading you into that canopy. One of the benefits of a fully articulating screen is that you can get the camera in these really fantastic dynamic positions, which is something that I've sort of not been able to get with my own system of late, but or certainly the system I had before that. It's been a while since I've been able to get anything where this sort of opportunity presents itself. So you don't necessarily have to be behind the camera to get your shots. We're currently on f9.5 a second, 2-second timer and 200 ISO. So I'll put that on now. I was just a little bit confused then for a minute because we got some coniferous trees here. This particular species I'm not familiar with, but on the ground underneath there's lots of Scots pine cones, and I know for a fact that they haven't come off this tree. So I was a bit thrown for a second there, but there is a Scots pine just at the back of the camera there. Always drawn to their cones, especially when you get them on mass carpets of them. They make beautiful abstracts. I've done it before, but had they been here today en masse, I probably would have done it anyway, because they always make beautiful images and everyone is so unique. But yeah, they're very obvious things on the ground when you see them, and as a photographer, instantly drawn to them. Really nice. So it's been about 10 minutes since that last shot, and I've been concentrating my efforts on the woodland floor, specifically with the silver birch leaves. There's just millions of them on the floor after the winds that we've just had, and of course, as I thought, there's a lot of them which are turning that beautiful golden autumnal colour. Now, this shot that I've got lined up, you could perhaps consider it to be a bit of a cliche shot, but hopefully I've introduced, or I've found a shot that's got other elements around it that lift it beyond the usual ordinary cliche image of a leaf, let's say. And I feel often that's important with every image that we take, that we look for those little bit of extra details that make all the difference and just raise the bar that little bit higher. I'll show you the shot now. So camera's already in situ, and the subject that I've found is this little silver birch medallion here. Now, when I say raising the bar a little bit more, what I was referring to, of course, is the lovely mosses that obviously the rain's impacted, and you can see the way that they've formed on this boulder here. And I'm using the diagonals of those, sorry, the straight lines of those against the diagonal of the leaf. A single leaf is often just a bit predictable, let's say, but like I said, with introducing these vertical lines that sort of contrast with the shape of the birch leaf, then it becomes a little bit more interesting. And also you've got a scattering of silver birch seeds dotted around as well, just to add that little bit of sparkle to the overall scene. So I'll show you on the back of the camera. So here is the image all lined up, ready to go. As you can see, I've placed the leaf dead in the centre of the frame. Not something I would always do. I sometimes like to have them just left or right of centre leading into the shot. But I just felt that the surrounding information of all these mosses running through the frame, it was important to keep those all the way around and frame the leaf. I've got this currently on f11. Actually, I'm going to take that down to f9. Just drop the exposure a little bit there, just to darken it off. So I'm going to take this at f9. If you're not familiar with Micro Four Thirds, You get a lot more depth of field for your money than you do with full frame and certainly medium format lenses. I'm not even going to focus stack this. I've taken a test shot and it's nice and sharp. I've made sure that the camera is positioned beautifully over the top in a lovely position, so the sensor is nice and parallel to the subject. I've got some nice modelling on the edge of the leaf there. I am going to leave that. I'm not going to put a polarizer on because it introduces a bit of three-dimensionality to the scene. I'm manually focusing. I'm not actually using the autofocus on this, although it's quite a simple thing to do. Just push the lens forward and it will hopefully focus on that. I've actually got the focusing point just set on the highest point of the leaf, which is just there. But autofocus is not something I use a great deal of. Now, you'll be familiar with this system, the OM1 Mark II, in that it's got, I think it's got a stack sensor, but it's 20 megapixels, but you have got high res mode. Now, in high res mode, you get 80 megapixels, and it's very, very good for subjects like this where nothing in the frame is moving. So I am going to use that because when I get home, I'm really keen to see what the difference is between the two. So 200 ISO, f9, a 30th of a second, and I'll put that on now. Well, I never thought I would be finding fungi in the woodland today, but there's actually quite a lot of it around. But what I found here is really interesting subject matter. We've got a mushroom that has died, it's gone past its best, it's collapsed, it's fallen over, and it's basically being consumed by other fungi. I think it's the mycelium strands, microscopic mycelium strands that's come around it, and it's basically eating the fruiting body of the mushroom that's fallen down. Certainly that's what it looks like to me. But the way that these mycelium strands fan out around the fungi, you've got this lovely halo that's surrounding it. It's not the prettiest thing, but I think it makes for a really interesting photograph. I've got to give it a go. It's certainly got some ecological interest that I like to record, but I actually still think it makes a really interesting image as well. Got to give that a go. So as you can see, the tripod is well and truly on the wonk. Don't worry, it is safe, it's not going anywhere. But the reason I've done that is because it's important that the centre plane is on the same plane as the mossy bank in which this mushroom, this fungus, is lying on. You can see it leans away from the bottom of the tree. So the centre plane is aligned to mimic that angle. And that's important to really, so you don't have to worry too much about depth of field. It's a pretty flat surface otherwise. Just got to make sure the camera is positioned in that way, just to make life a little bit easy for yourself. I'll just show you on the back of the camera what I've got now. It looks really good. So there we have the image. I think that looks fantastic. The way that light is radiating out from the mushroom lying on the moss is really beautiful. Now I've got the camera set up on a 4x3 crop, which takes full advantage of the sensor. Every bit of detail is covering the entire area of the sensor, and edge to edge detail all the way around. I don't need to focus stack, so I don't need to worry about focus breathing, so I've got the image aligned up exactly as I want it to be. If I was focus stacking, I would be just pulled out ever so slightly with a view to that focus breathing needing cropping out when I got to the computer. But as it stands, that is working out really quite nicely. Sorry about that, just focus it back in again. If you're interested in the settings, we're on f10, 1/8 of a second, and 200 ISO. I think that's a stunning shot, very, very different. certainly. So I'll put that shot on now. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day. I've got 3 lovely images. I'm very happy with what I've got so far. I'm going to spend a little bit more time in the wood. It's a bit of time to myself. But I hope you've enjoyed those images that I've taken today. I'm going to put those on now. But as always, don't forget to subscribe and leave some comments below. Give the video a lovely big thumbs up. That always helps. And as I've said before, if you enjoy the close-ups, the intimate landscapes, then do check out my ebook available on my website, www.simonboothphotography.com. So again, a big thank you to OM Systems for the loan of the camera, and to Three Legged Thing, of course, for the L bracket, which I've used today on every shot. So I'll leave it there and say thank you all ever so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.